What is happening? Welcome to the Rixican Show. I am Rick, your host, and we have Donnie, our technician, and we'll introduce Gary Pierce in a minute here. Just want to get started and say life is good. The weather's warming up a little bit. Had a pretty dry winter. Well, I guess it's rained, but it hadn't snowed. But I'm kind of loving the weather.
Yeah, we need a little bit more precipitation though, because I'm worried about the summer, aren't you? More fires?
I'm more worried about the mosquitoes. I saw one. I'm like, why are you out?
It's because you're on the water.
What are you doing here?
Speaking of which, what are you doing on the water anyway?
So, Moses Lake Sail and Paddle. That's a project I'm working on.
Interesting.
And let's see, I've picked up 2 sailboats and I got a little motorboat that needs a motor.
What was that little fast one you got? I just saw in your recent post.
So that's a Laser 14. They race them in the Olympics.
Oh, wow.
It's got 1 sail, and it's like, as long as you don't put a hole in the boat, it's like an unsinkable boat. So it's really cool to capsize. And if you're clever, you could straddle the hull, step on the little dagger board, which is like a keel, and bring it back up. And
how many seats? 2 people? 1?
The guys that race it is 1 person, but you could put 2 people on it and cruise around. I've sailed it with 2 people many times.
Is it kind of like a kayak when you're sitting in there?
No, it's a wide hull. It has a little cockpit. You put your legs in and you sit up on the side, and it has a strap. You get to hike out.
Oh, okay.
It has a planing hull. I mean, the hull weighs like 120 pounds, so it doesn't take much to get them moving.
I remember last time I went sailing, I kept almost getting hit by the sail when we were switching it, like learning to duck. You ever been hit by one of those?
Why would I get hit by one of those? I'm a professional.
But you weren't always a professional.
So when the wind's coming kind of from the stern of the boat, the rear of the boat, they call it jibing.
Jibing.
And
with a B or a B?
J.
Jibing?
Jibing.
With a B.
Like J-I-B-E.
Okay, it was with a B. Okay.
And when the wind kicks sides, because the wind's coming behind, the boom will swing. And that's like when it whacks people and throws them off the boat. When you're going upwind, the boom is only going to move as fast as the wind direction will. It won't swing it around. So when it's heavy winds, we'll do some like extra long turn so we're not jibing. But if it's just...
It's a new word today, folks.
Regular wind, you just let it jibe, or you pull it in and then let it whack over, and then you let it back out. So
I love the terminology.
Whack over is a nautical term. I'm just trying to describe. Yeah, you pull that boom in as tight as it can go, and then when it jumps over, you can let it back out.
I just remember not looking. I was like, whoa!
But when you're on like a large boat, and there's a lot of square footage of sail, and that thing wants to swing. It'll swing. And I saw a video recently. Some guys leaning against it, and they jibed, and he went right off the boat.
Oh, did it look planned?
No.
Like they were trying to get clicks and views?
No, it wasn't planned. There you go. Like, that sucks.
Only you can find a song with a whoop.
There he goes. There he goes. There it is.
So it's called the Moses Lake what?
Moses Lake Sail and Paddle. Okay. I was thinking of names. It was going to be like Moses Lake Sail and Boating. What do I want to call it?
Where's home base?
So on West Lakeside Drive,
we
have a property there next to a boat launch, and we're going to use it. So we're working with the trails team to see if we can improve that site and get a dock there. We've got a property to store the boats on.
So do you think we can get a rowing team here? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Like
where is the closest rowing team anyway?
I have no idea, but I don't think we have a rowing team.
You should know these things, man.
I think Chelan might have some row. I did see a rowing boat there.
Okay.
Like a 4-seater or something. I don't know much about the rowing teams, but I don't see why we can't incorporate that.
Putting Moses Lake on the map. Look at Rick go.
But starting simple, right? You got the paddle boards, the kayaks. Those are cheap and easy to get.
Yeah.
So my focus is kind of on that. Small boat sailing,
You got a kids program with it too, or
So the basis is mostly a kids program, but we do want to add some adult classes to it.
okay?
I was kind of thinking, I mean, they used to do college courses at the Big Bend with it.
Yeah,
So might try to set something up that's more like the kids course, and adults could jump in them too, but it'd be like Monday through Friday, get it done.
have you talked to the gyms at all? Because they probably want to. For some of their folks, probably want to get on it, get
Um,
that rowing in.
yeah, get that right. Do the real thing. Why go to the gym? Be outside, get some. But we're working with some government agencies that have
Nice.
talked about helping sponsor us. There's some big corporations in town that have talked about helping us out, and so uh, we're meeting, and it looks really good that we're going to have a lot of support. And
That's
so I
awesome.
was like, this is awesome. If
Did you ever think you'd be doing that in Moses Lake?
I was always kind of waiting for the stars to align,
Yeah.
and then I bumped into Teresa, which is trying to bring the YMCA.
You can say, wasn't she
So
from the YMCA?
she raised $10,000 to do like a survey
Oh,
or
she
a
got it.
study.
Nice.
Yeah, so
She was on our show, remember?
yeah, she was doing that, and then we talked about it, and then all of a sudden, a month or two later, she calls me up and was like, "Hey, I talked to this person and this person and this agency and this," and they're like, "Could you start this program this summer?" And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Okay, buckle up, let's go."
Oh,
So she is really an amazing lady, like great facilitator.
that's awesome. Because
So
you're the squirrel guy. That's
yeah, so you're talking to the port, Moses Lake Irrigation District. You're talking to this, certain groups in the city, uh, Grant County Health
will you be
Department.
using the canals or just the lake?
Uh, so a lot of it depends on the people we have doing the program.
Yeah.
The summer program can be as big as the people and adults with knowledge and kids' interests can go.
Yeah.
An example is where I taught in Newport Beach, California.
I love
I've
Newport
taught
Beach.
sailing, rowing, windsurfing, advanced sailing. I did like all the water stuff there. I taught it all. And I went to click on their website because I was like, what are they charging? How are they doing this? And in my little process, they were like, they added a robotics program. And I was like,
Oh,
so it helped me realize that if we have certain talent in the community, it'd be easy to attach, that program. And
yeah.
so as I teach people sailing, it's not that hard to learn kayaking, but some people have kids. They're like, I just got to get them out, get them on the water, and then, teach them fishing, then teach them kayak fishing. And they can go out, paddle out, fish. This place is no good. Paddle somewhere else for 15 minutes, fish a
Yeah.
while, and just get them on the water for the week.
Get active.
Yeah.
What do you say your biggest hurdle? Would you say it'd be boots?
Yes. So I just got 2 lasers donated. I'm talking to another gentleman that'll be back in town this week, and he has another boat to donate. One of the big organizations in town was talking about maybe helping us get a fleet.
How much would it be a boat was like for 4 people or something?
Yeah, so to get us, like a 14-footer or larger to like get a fleet on the water. Some of these boats are like 15,000 a piece.
Oh,
If you
wow.
buy in bulk for like a school, you can get them down to 7 or 8. And I was like 8 times
I bet
10,
there's some grants available for that.
$80,000. Yeah, there's some grants and different things that can take place. So
Sounds like a lot of fun, man.
yeah, but I was like, whoa, there's these, because we have big companies in town that they're having trouble keeping employees because there's not opportunity for their families and kids and
Do
their
stuff.
staff to do stuff. But
Yeah.
you have people from the west side that like boating, and they're like, what are my kids gonna do? And they're like, hey, if we offer a summer class, that might be like, well, Moses Lake might not be so bad. If you like to hunt and fish, this place is amazing. Sand dunes,
Sand
awesome.
dunes, yeah.
But you
Skate
also,
park.
as we're bringing industry, and you have people coming from more city-like places, and they kind of have expectations to have certain services that we don't have. And it's not. I'm not trying to like, because you do have a viewpoint of there's people that want to keep Moses Lake like the good old days. They don't want it to grow. They don't want to do those things. And and I can appreciate that.
Change is important.
Well, at the same time, Moses Lake is going to grow whether you like it or not. The population is going to increase whether you like it or not, just based on the demographic people that live here. As industries come, they're going to bring in jobs and more people. So it's going to grow whether you like it or not. And so, people were, I saw a post on social media and they're like, what does Moses Lake need? Everyone, what restaurant does Moses Lake need? And they're talking about restaurants. And then we talked last time that a lot of restaurants are consolidating and downsizing right now. So
yeah, like you said,
view is,
now Chile is now a food truck.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Like the community, you have income, community, government, population, income of the population. You got all these pillars that have to balance to rise together for more to come. And so, from my perspective, this sail and paddle, bringing the YMCA in, these other community groups help us raise one of the pillars up of community and opportunity. Because what happens in a year or two when we have, because not just Moses Lake, and this was reminded to me, there's Warden, Othello, Ephrata. These people have kids that need stuff to do too.
It was reminded to you?
Yes, because I was just kind of focused on Moses Lake, and they're like, no, all these other communities, as we talk to people, are watching us and what we're doing. But we're going to implement these programs, and it helps one pillar of the community increase, which will also help. We want more nurses and doctors to come to town as they're looking for things for their family to do. It all works together, if that makes sense.
Well, I can tell you that it's something I might try later on. Right now, I'm just getting on 2 feet. I was on crutches for 14 months, and now I'm, a month and a week. So 5 weeks off of crutches. I joined a gym, and maybe down the road, someone like me can get involved in that.
Yeah, you'd be on a paddle boat or sailing.
Yeah.
Oh, so my original thought, I take tangents, sorry folks. My original thought is, what happens when we teach 100 kids how to sail? And then some kids fall in love with it.
We're teaching them to fish.
Maybe you teach 1,000 kids and there's 20 that are like, I love it. I want to race them. I want to do this and that. And all of a sudden you have regattas and clubs. Like, I'm curious how it'll grow.
Yeah.
Because I remember racing, and someone posted on my site, this is life changing. Like, what, for me it was. As a kid, I was, the Boy Scout. We did our hiking, our 50 milers. We did all that stuff. And then I had one adult leader that in the Explorer thing got us into Sea Scouts. And we learned to sail. And then we would go cruise to Channel Islands. Like, could this grow to the point that we're like, hey, this summer we're going to Puget Sound, and we're going to do the San Juan Islands. Like,
sounds like we need to do a whole show about this.
Can it get there? And the possibility is yes, it can. Because we're making relationships with other sailing programs. I went to Chelan, talked to their sailing program. I called a few places today, in Seattle, and be like, what's your sailing program like? What are you doing? Because if you get kids that want to race, we can bring them here and we can get them on a boat and trailer it up there and be like, you got a little race boat, let's go.
I'm rooting for you. Before we get to our guest,
big tangent.
I want to say thank you, Brothers Automotive, for all you do in the community. If you're having issues with your vehicle or you just need a checkup, Brothers Automotive is the place for you. It's the cheapest, and they'll work around you. They'll come and get your car if they have to. 761-9744. 761-9744 for all your automotive needs. Brothers Automotive, Moses Lake. Cut to you, Rick.
All right. Gary Pierce, Pastor Gary Pierce, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And my tangents.
It's awesome.
Gary Pierce was a Golden Glove boxer to pasture.
Pastor.
Is that like taco?
Yeah. Got some pineapple and pork in it.
There you go. Al pastor. Yeah. Tell us your journey. You've done a lot the past 12 years.
Yeah, well, then in just that time, I've been pastoring the church for over, I say I started that in 2004, so I've been a pastor for quite a while now.
Okay.
And then I got started with the extreme team. They came and were, they did a thing here in Moses Lake, and they asked me if I would be a part of it. So I started going around with them and doing that. And I started out in
Who's the extreme team?
extreme team. Extreme team. It's maybe
I mean, for those that don't know, how would you describe them?
well, just a bunch of evangelists who run around and break things.
So you guys on steroids or
No,
no?
no,
That's too extreme.
Pastor tacos. That's all I want.
You guys fueled by El Pastor tacos.
Oh, you're making me hungry.
Yeah, yeah. It's my buddy Rick. He was on here before, Rick Wilson. And
Yeah.
he's the one that founded that. And then he seen me at a camp and seen that I could lift things. He had to ask me to spot for him, and I was spotting 250 pounds, and they were lifting on a bed of nails. And
So they lay on nails.
yeah,
Like people stand on nails. Now it's a bed of nails. Like
yeah,
mind over matter.
yeah. It's a bed of nails. You got it. And it was pretty easy to start out with, not too bad because you use quite a bit of nails. But then when the airlines changed their weights, we had to go down to 50 pounds, and so you had to take some of the nails out. So it
hurts more.
Oh yeah, it's not as dense. So
Isn't it like acupuncture? So it's healing.
oh yeah, yeah. The first time he said to me, he said, "Hit as hard as you can because if you don't, you'll hurt me." And so I hit as hard as I could. He forgot who I was talking to.
So what happened when you hit him so hard?
That was exactly what happened.
He did.
No, he lived, but
He
he had a few more. He bled a little bit. Doesn't usually bleed. It's like a sunburn usually, but you know,
Yeah.
a little further.
He asked the Golden Glove to hit him. I hit a plate, right? Nails on it.
That was a sledgehammer.
Oh, the sledgehammer.
Oh my goodness.
If you know how to swing, that's the power there.
Yeah. So is that all it is beds of nails?
No, we break bricks and break baseball bats over thigh and blow up hot water balls.
Like old phone books.
Yeah, rip phone books. We use erase it. It's kind of hard to find a phone book now.
That's true. Yeah.
Rip cell phones now?
You
Yeah.
guys remember using phone books to sit on when you were little? That was your high chair.
That was also my car seat.
That was how I got a raise when I was working
Yeah.
for my dad. He stand on a phone book. There's your raise.
Yeah, now you get a ticket for any of those tricks.
Oh man.
Or like CPS would show, your kid sat on a phone book, it didn't have a strapped in,
Yeah.
Take your kids away for that.
Oh Lord. Now Brick's gonna invent a phone book with a strap for the car.
Probably. You open it halfway, slide in the strap.
So you said bricks, are we talking like the red bricks or what?
Just bricks, just concrete bricks.
Cinder block.
Yeah, they're more like we use them scallops for gardening.
Oh, like pavers?
Because they work really good, but like Nicholas and that way.
So everybody was kung fu fighting, and you're like,
Yeah, well, I didn't do any of the martial arts stuff at his box, but
yeah,
Rick had done all of those, and so when I first went out, I said, what do I do? He said, hit it hard. I mean, I didn't get to practice, so I just got to go.
yeah.
That was your first time?
Yeah, well, my first time was in Tri-Cities and he asked me to break some bricks there, and I did it. And then when we got all done, he has this thing that's kind of just to show him about carrying your sin. If you let go of it, then it gets back, it's bigger. And so he was carrying this guy around two guys weigh 140 pounds, and he's carrying the guy around the whole place on his back. And he comes back and he said, "You do that again for $50?" And he said, "Yeah." And he said, "Okay, well, your sin has increased." And he had me get on his back. And I'm telling the guy, "Don't pick me up because you're not heavy enough to hold me.
Yeah.
Don't pick me up." And as soon as I picked my foot up, we fell right backwards on the stack of broken bricks. And so the night after, well, a couple of days after that, I came out of the saddle, and my wife says, "You got a perfect cross on your bottom." Bruised. So that was my first time going over there in Tri-Cities and getting to go all over the world and all over the country. It's been pretty neat. It's been fun. I've got to see a lot of different things. See people, just letting people know they matter. They're not just junk or throwaway.
And didn't you do prison stuff as well too?
Yeah, a lot of times in the prison I was in there. I started in 2004, and when COVID hit, they asked me to I had to be vaccinated or not go in, and I don't want to get vaccinated, so I stopped going. And then now I'm able to go back, and now my hips messed up, so and it's a long walk back to the chapel. So, but we'll get it figured out again. And it's really Grant County's got that big old facility going over there, and I'm part of that Grant County Jail. So that'll be amazing to
Just looking at what we got here, I was thinking how life-changing injuries are, right? From Golden Glove to whatever, Donnie and his cancer.
Soon to be no cancer.
I've had a few injuries overseas from the military, but just getting older, just the aging process. And I look back and go, the older I am, the better I was, and I have to give up, a certain mentality, certain hobbies, certain things that were on my bucket list that I'd like to go back and do that, but every day that passes as I age, I'm like, that window is closing or has closed on some of the activities I've done. And it kind of changes your perspective. I remember hanging up my skateboard, because I broke my back in Iraq and I was busy doing stuff. And, the doc's like, Rick, you're at risk for paralysis. Do you really want to eat it off a half pipe? And I was like,
But you were in Iraq with the skateboard?
yes, yes.
Only Rick.
Just ollieing over Iraq. ISIS, but
Try and catch me.
so it's just like, I guess it's time to give that up, but life's happening, it's moving forward, and at the same time, aging or injuries, but like you say, oh, my hip, right?
yeah. That all kind of stems from an accident I had. I got right out of high school. I wrecked a truck up on Snoqualmie Pass. I got thrown out of the truck.
Oh wow!
Crushed my skull. It blew the ball in this shoulder in half.
So you should be dead.
It busted my hip. Yeah, I was messed up pretty bad. And I was in bed for 3 years. I had to learn how to walk and talk again. And that was all after the boxing and stuff. So I all those things I'd already done. But I was only 18 when that happened. And so it took a while for me to get back on my feet. I got a plate in my head. I got a lot of stuff going on there. And the hip is part of it. He said when you're 50, that thing's going to be done. Well, I'm 59. It's done. It's over. I got to get a new one. But so coming back from injuries and stuff like that, and like the shoulder, I can't throw a ball like I used to. I can't do a lot of things, but I can do a lot of other things. And so I just look at that, keep moving ahead. I can rip phone books pretty easy still. And I can still break the bat and blow up a hot water bottle, but I probably won't be jumping up and doing like we did before for a little bit anyway.
Won't be doing the nail thing for a while.
Yeah, I never did that. I'm always the one that hit the brick. The other two guys, they trusted me enough with a bed of nails under them and one over them and then a cinder block and busting it with a sledgehammer.
Tell us a story about the strong man again. Do you remember that story, Rick?
Well, just a tough man.
Yeah, tough man.
Tough man. So this was before the accident, right?
That was
after.
Yeah, that was another thing I had to get by with my wife because she's like, you got a busted up head. What do you want to be fighting for? But my head's harder than ever been because it was
metal plate.
Yeah. Just hope that you get dented. But yeah, I went. It all happened because this guy aggravated me that was a prison guard at Coyote Ridge, and he was keeping the prisoners. We had him helping us at the rodeo grounds, and I felt cleaning up and doing things, and he was really not a nice guy. And I went and watched, and I seen him fight, and so I thought, man, I want to fight that guy. So I'm gonna. And he ended up not fighting him. But I went and did that, but it was I had a lung infection. I probably should not went, but my ego said, keep going, you can do it, you can hustle, and just put your shoulders down and go through it. You know, I did, I won, but then coming out, like, my heart quit. And they had the EMTs were in the car with me, and they got me going in the car, and that was a pretty painful thing. He said, you don't have pulse, and I said, I have to have a pulse, man. I think you do.
Yeah.
And he says, you don't. And they were going nuts. I just, all I felt, I couldn't drink water, and everything just come right back up, and everything was getting kind of dim. So I just said, I gotta go home. Because I was in an interview for TV because I wanted to, and I wanted to learn, and I just couldn't really keep myself together for that. So I ended up in the ER, and as soon as they got me hydrated and stuff, I was back. It was just dehydration.
Did you already say the part where you had no pulse?
Yeah.
Oh, somehow I missed that.
So I said, I had no pulse.
Oh, Joan says, hi, Pastor Gary.
Hey, Joan. Is that Aunt Joan?
Yeah, and Joan.
Aunt Joan.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I guess I don't have a metal plate in my head, but I got in a car accident and I fractured my egg up here. I mean, it took a good 6 months for me to, well, my eyes were like blood red like the devil, and people walking around me. I had to take the bus I was in college. I had to take the bus to class. I was going to drop out, but my mom, being the opinionated woman that she is, was
Not your mom.
She was like, "You are not dropping out." She said, "You will go to class." I was like, "Mom, I just almost died." And she's like, "Tell you what, go to class, and if you start failing a class, then drop it."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay." Killing me. So I'm like hobbling around for like 6 months. But anyway, I passed all my classes. I did okay. And I think some teachers probably felt sorry for me. They're like this bum in their class that looks like the devil. I couldn't wrinkle my forehead. Yeah, just blew the blood vessels in my eyes. But that's where I had like a near death experience with that. And so it's kind of somewhat life changing. At the same time, many like memories were like blocked. So like, and I guess I assume it's because you have your path that you have to take in this life, and if you know too much, then it can shift, certain things or decisions you would have made. So you still have to have like your earthly ignorance.
Yeah, I never really recalled that accident. I still don't remember it. I've had a lot of nightmares about it, but I don't remember it. Because it crushed my skull. It took 9 hours to get it put back together, and they did a surgery with my face. I got to start from this ear to that ear, and they took my face off. And so, and
You look great, by the way.
yeah.
You look nothing like, what's his name in the movie? Face Off?
Face Off, yeah.
It was Kate.
Nicolas Cage.
Sure.
Yeah.
John Travolta. You don't look like that at all.
Yeah.
Sure of that. But yeah, no, that happened, and I had to sign waivers because he used it for training film because they hadn't done that before. And yeah, it was quite a deal. And then I would go in the office, and the nurses would tell me how beautiful I was. I'm like, haven't been told that before.
Yeah. You look beautiful. They're like, "Oh my gosh,
You're so beautiful.
black and blue." Yeah.
Yeah. I had the eyes like that for a long time too, but I couldn't get up. I couldn't walk around. I couldn't talk or anything. I had a hard time.
Yeah. Things did like a TBI. Yeah.
So it took a little while to get.
So
What's TBI mean?
traumatic brain injury.
Oh.
So if you had a near-death experience, if you feel you had one and you don't remember, it's from the trauma, like the surgery, the pain, and some of those things block those memories. But it's a process to go through that, and like if you're into that kind of thing, and you can't. If you did have one, you can start remembering some of those experiences. But anyway, but yeah, it's crazy. Life happens. I mean, talk about a start over in life. I had to learn to walk again. You said, how long was it? 3 years?
Yeah, 3 years.
To learn to live your life again?
Get moving again. I had my wife, I was married already, and she was this beautiful young woman, and she had this guy just laying there like a slug, couldn't move.
Yeah, she liked you better with your face off.
I don't know.
Too
She
soon.
might have. Yeah, she just kind of hung in there and took care of me. It was quite, and my dad, he was taking me around because I've been working on tractors and trucks and doing all that stuff, painting cars since I was just a little kid. So,
Yeah.
he brought me and made me because I'd forgotten how to do all that. And he
Was it mentally forgot or muscle memory?
Yeah,
Everything.
I think it's because the muscle memory come back. But I was on how to figure out how to, the different torques and all that stuff. I had all that in my head. It's all gone.
Yeah.
I had to remember how to torque heads down, do things that
It's crazy.
had to bring me back through that. But yeah, that was, and then when that happened with the tough man thing, that was one of those things where I was like, well, I don't even know what's going to happen now because everything was just kind of, it's like, what's going to happen next? They said I was dead.
Yeah.
And then the next time I went and fought the tough man the year after that, the guy pulled me down, rabbit punched me, and he bruised my brainstem, but it just about killed me that time too. So I figured, my wife says if you go to do that again, I'm just going to shoot you on the way out. So I have to wait. But
Yeah, I guess sometimes you have like your path in life, and as you deviate from it, there's a good reminder to stay on path. Like fighting as the Golden Glove as a kid, to recovering years later, to doing it again. You had a couple, I guess, near close calls, and you're like,
Injuries.
yeah, close calls where you're like, you know what? Maybe I need to give that up.
yeah, it's good. It's like doing the other stuff and just showing people things and not trying to hurt them anymore, but trying to help them. It's kind of a good thing. I always thought, when we're sitting getting ready to go fight, and both corners, the guys are praying, right? So who's God for? Because both of them are praying. I just thought, he's not for me. That's for you. But we need to kind of do stuff for him or others, take care of people instead of try to tear them apart.
And it's probably, I wonder how many prayers are said for different sporting events. Probably more than we realize. Probably more intent than.
Yeah, well, I raced cars a lot too, and for a long time, and that was the thing. We prayed before the race. We prayed, and it's like, who are we praying for? Who's God going to want to win today?
I think God's more concerned about the experience of life, experiencing everything, the win, the loss.
Oh, I thought you were saying the wind.
The wind, you're supposed to, the wind, the water, the air. No, the winning, the losing,
Yeah.
coming in second, third, fourth, fifth, just being average. I think it's just all part of life. And it's, I guess for some, it's, their path to be, take it to the professional level. And for others, it's just a stepping stone in life to experience something. I guess you did boxing, whatever. I mean, I did cross country in my younger youth, and I went to water polo and swimming and then sailing. And I mean, each thing was it was an experience. I'm too short to take aquatics to the next level. I mean, I was decent, but I was like 5'9", like, my coaches were Olympians, and they're like all 6'4", 6'6", like I was like these guys are impressive beasts, I had a roommate. We'll just take a tangent here, talk about some of my
What? A tangent from you?
some of the amazing people in my life. In my ignorance, I never saw it, how amazing people are. But we're all amazing. But these will be examples of people that I know that, have gone on and excel in the professional level. So, growing up, we had a friend, and, we used to, he was a chubby kid, and he was at the rivalry high school, and I was roommates with his brother in college, whatever. But anyway, like, he went on to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I was like, I never saw it. Like, I never saw the talent, but somehow, and he tells his story like he was like, there's only 39 spots. And he's like, I was number 39. And for years, it was like, I was always like one mistake away from getting dropped, like he had to fight for that spot to play for the Steelers. I had friends go play pro baseball from my school. I had coaches that were Olympians. I had a roommate who was 6'6", and he's like, I like volleyball. And I never thought much of it. And now we've grown up, and I'm like, he's been to the Olympics 4 times playing beach volleyball. And I was like, I never saw it. He just was like, I like volleyball. He was coordinated, but like, I never, like, how do I miss it? Like, the potential, or, and there's a lot of people that excel that don't have the limelight like that. You have biologists and chemists and all these people doing amazing things out there, going around and getting people motivated, or that their life is worth it. Not all of us are in the spotlight, but I think we, in our own little bubble, are doing amazing things. And I miss it. I like, for some reason, I'm not able to predict the winners. I just be like, oh, that was a chubby kid growing up, in pro football. That guy's tall and lanky. I like volleyball. Another friend we used to jam with in college, he plays professionally in a band, the Neon Trees. And I was like, I'm just a bass player. Now he's going on tour. I was like, what is it that we miss the brilliancy of like people?
I think it's a lot because we're looking here. I'm always trying to be better or whatever. Had that ego like I want, and I didn't even think about what they were doing. Or I was trying to be the best.
From your own ego.
Yeah, just kind of self-centered and trying to. And I'm not saying that's where you're at, but that's where I was. I didn't see it, and then later I'm looking around, going, man, there's people doing all kinds of stuff, and I'm not just centered on one thing. And I think that's the way. That's what I feel. I've been kind of brought to that place where I see people, older guys, and I can't believe what they've done. I mean, it's amazing what they've done. And they're not sitting there bragging. Somebody else told me about it. So then I know it's real. It really happened. It wasn't just a story or something they're talking about.
Yeah. For Veterans Day, we serve a free meal here at Rick's. And every once in a while, I'll be here and I'll sit down and talk with some of the older guys. And it's like their stories are interesting, like one guy, he's like, yeah, back in the 70s, we were racing these cars back when like they were like the forefathers of some of these events we have today, but yeah, just talking to, there's an older gentleman in town that, he's helped, when those little race hydro boats out there, not the ones that lift out of the water, but they some little hydroplane race boats around here. He was one of the guys that was like the forefather of that and was building boats. And now they got all the little kids out there. And they travel all over, but they race here once or twice a year in Cascade Valley, those little race boats that go by. It's like all these people have done amazing things, whether they're like the forefather where no one noticed and now it's a thing. But anyway, yeah, I guess the whole point is people are doing amazing things and you may not get credit for it. It could be raising your kids. It could be, the best at-home mom chef in the world, creating something new. And then one day it ends up on a shelf in a store. Like, we just don't know.
Yeah, we talked about around the world in 12 years. What's your favorite like country or city you've been to?
Oh man, I was really, I think I really liked when I was in Hyderabad.
Where's that?
In India.
Oh, India.
Yeah.
Have you been to India already?
I have not been to India.
Hyderabad's like Seattle, but you have third world country all around it, right? It's like as you go, there's all these call centers, everything that looks like the city, but then they got carts with brainer cows pulling across. And then you got all the trucks and cars and all the noise. But it was pretty amazing. And you still see, lives, your meat hanging in the window and stuff. It's not refrigerated. It's still kind of on the outside. So it's like, and then you go up in the buildings and they're amazing and new. So it was, and just it was chaos, but it's just amazing how people can work together without even trying to work together. They just know they got to stay out of each other's way, so they do it.
Driving down the road, you're like, it's chaos.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I think if you've never left the country, and I know people travel to resorts and stuff, it's more than that. If you can get your boots on the ground with the local people, it's life changing. Like, and I try to share that with people when I talk to them about the rest of the world. It's a beautiful world. There's pros and cons to every country, but I think in the United States, we're kind of egocentric on, America this, America that. And if you listen to me, I never say America because to me, having traveled through different places in the Americas, I'm like, there's 34 countries in America. Mm-hmm. And imagine talking to someone from Jamaica and you're like, in America, we got this, in America, we got that. And they're like, I'm an American too. And this happened to me when I was in Costa Rica. I was talking to this lady and like, in America, we got that. And this old lady like fingered me out and was like, I'm an American too. I might be Central American, but I'm an American. And I had to unwrap certain belief systems to consider that Canadians are American, Mexicans are American. I had to unwrap that. But I'm also like, how do I teach my surrounding people that without being obnoxious? Because we use the term America more than the United States since the Civil War. Things have kind of shifted. But it's interesting, and it's okay because if we have that belief system, we're taught 7 continents. In Europe, they're taught 6 continents. That the Americas are 1. So some of it's just our education and upbringing. But as I've traveled, I've been to China and different places, and the world's a beautiful place. It's just different. So they have a different way of thinking or a different thought process. When you go to the market in countries that aren't as Western as ours, it's interesting to see them just carrying goats and pigs on their back and hanging them up in a shop. You're like, oh. And then
first day there in Bulor City, they got us. They said, we're going to go to the market. Come with us and we'll get food. And so we went. Now we're going to go to the market. Well, we go and these chickens are running all around and grab one and hack its head off and throw it in the dryer, knock all the leathers off. And then they throw it on this bloody stump, chop it up, push it in a bag and hand it to you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm glad I got a lot of protein bars with me because I don't think I'll eat that.
That's different.
Yeah. But it happens. But I think like what Donnie was talking about is different. I just see there's a lot of amazing people that, those other countries, they don't really care too much about their people, like in India and stuff. There's so many of them and they're just pushed off to the side. In Kenya, the same way. I mean, there's people that die on the sidewalk and they just walk by and
them over. Wow. Speed bump.
Don't mess with them. So, but it's just different. When I got there, I was big because they don't eat like we do. So they're small. And I mean, they're little and tiny and so right away they thought I was Big Show. And so that's what they called me, Big Show.
Wrestler?
Yeah. And I was thinking, man, I don't look anything like that guy. But anyway, said, yeah, Big Show, Biggie Show. And so that's what they called me. And it was just funny. Kids, they knew all about this WWE wrestling.
Oh, they know all the choice words.
Even in this place out in nowhere, where it's in the middle, there's a rice paddy, there's a few things, it's just out in the middle of nowhere. And this kid comes up to me and goes, I like Randy Orton. How'd you have to beat up Randy Orton? And I said, well, I've never seen Randy Orton, but maybe on TV.
Oh yeah.
But it's just people. They're amazing. I mean, they have statues of us hanging in the trees when we're going in there because they're hung because they just want us to be there. They want us to leave. they're spitting on us, doing all that stuff. You
Oh,
know?
wow, like voodoo stuff.
Oh yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah, and so, but they're just different, but you see what they deal with and what they have to deal with every day just to live, and then you come over here and it takes me about a month to depress, you know, this because everybody's so spoiled compared to there.
Yeah, I mean, in Costa Rica, because I was there for 2 years, one thing I noticed was how happy the people were with less. And, you know, here we have a lot of stuff. Uh, and I was like, what is the cost of happiness? And I'm like, the guy would, there was one guy had like nothing. And I go, hey, I like your shirt. He's like ready to give it to me. And I was like, that's like your only shirt. You know, like I've got a dozen at home, you know, like, uh, it's just, it's different. That's why I say that the world's a beautiful place. I mean, there's pros and cons to every country, but, you know, everybody, you know, it seems like a lot of the poor countries, there are happier people and they have their community. Um, and anyway, it was just an observation.
It's said they didn't even know they lived in a dump. That's what they were living in. It was just a dump. I mean, not a dump, tore down houses. It was a dump where people dumped their trash, and they hollowed out places to live. And the kids were happy. They were playing
Yeah,
rolled up pieces of plastic, using as a soccer ball.
yeah, throw baby diapers at each other.
Just having a good time, and you sit there, and the lady that was with us, she was an older missionary lady, and she was getting aggravated because the kids were unruly. And I said, well, why would they have? I mean, now I have a reason to respect us.
Yeah,
We're nothing to them. We didn't do anything to them. Let's talk to them and figure out where they're at and where they're coming from, and then maybe, you know, just show them that they matter to them. But they don't have to act like I want them to act.
yeah.
So they'll come around. And so it's just I think if anything's changed on me, I'm not self-centered now. I kind of think about others more than I used to, and I have to work on it every day. But like going to those different countries and stuff, it's just amazing. You'll see just I mean, it's just beautiful stuff. I like our going into this 4-star hotel. So we're supposed to be, and I didn't know why we were going in there. We've been in the bush for over 15 days, and then they pulled us out, put us in that place, and so I hand my bags to the guys, and they took them up, and they had to carry them. They're heavy, and so I gave them both 50 rupees each. Next day, this guy comes over and goes, "Hey, don't think you're going to get your laundry done because some idiot gave them all enough to take a week off." And it was me doing that, So, and I was thinking, I'm the idiot. But what they were doing was hard, and that wasn't very much money. 50 rupees isn't hardly anything. So, but it was a lot to them. And then coming home and just, I mean, the prison industry, stuff like that, the jail ministry. I had guns put on me over there in India. I was on the ground with an AK to the back of my head, and in Kenya more than in India. But actually, it wasn't even in India. It was on our way out because we messed up at the airport. And the guy that was with me, he was blind. His brother, Rick was with us. His brother, his cane caught sideways in the scanner, and so all the baggage were backing up and everything. I was trying to.
Oh, it's a chain.
Yeah, his cane and CNI tag.
Yeah, the blind guy has a cane.
And it bound up in there, and so the guy that's up there, was bringing you through. He had a stainless, but it was an AK. It was really cool looking, but he's yelling at me, "Come here, come here!" I said, "Wait a minute, my friend's stuck. I try to help him, and I'm trying to help him and tell him he's blind, and he's screaming, 'Get over here!' And I said, 'Listen, butthead!' And then everybody just stopped. Next thing I got this gun right on me, like, dump your stuff out.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you go through stuff like that, but it's happened here. I've had guys in the jail I had one kid I was ministering to that was in juvie. He witnessed a pretty bad murder.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't know what to do. And I told him, we just tell the truth. Well, they went after me because they wanted him out this. So they tried to pull me over out here on Patton And I was in my F-350, so I just spun them into the ditch and kept going because they had a Tahoe and a 300 and they tried to pull me over. And I spun around and went into this gas station there, and my wife ran in and called the police. I had my phone with me, and then they came up and shot on the front yard. But I was sitting there waiting for them with my 12 gauge, and I had double buck with 3-inch magnums. I got it made so I have 9 shells in it, one to 8 and one in the chamber. And I was in there doing ministry at Grant County, and that had come into the room.
Mm.
And he says, "You know who I am?" I said, "Yeah, I know who you are." It's like, well, I said, "Yeah, I know who shot a gun on my front yard and chased my wife around. I know who you are." And he says, "Well, what were you doing when I was on your yard?" I said, "I was sitting in my front room praying." He says, "Oh, did God help you to keep you safe?" I said, "No, but I wouldn't have to kill you. Because I didn't want to kill you, but I don't want you to mess with my family." And he sat down and started crying. And we talked for a while. So he's a big guy too, really big. There's just stuff like that on it. And it's not being a tough guy. It's just, I know God's got me. So I don't want to just be stupid and jump out there and do something and get killed because I was an idiot.
Well, you did jump out there. You still want to get killed because what you asked the kid to tell the truth.
Yeah.
And people that have secrets don't want the truth out.
Yeah, and he ended up telling the truth, and then they come back and charged him, and he's still in wall. He's about ready to be coming home.
Yeah. Some people are good about taking accountability for their screw ups, and some people, maybe once they're caught, they might be better at taking accountability. But in the military, it was interesting to observe, who keeps their mouth shut, who just blurts out their thoughts, opinions, or takes accountability quickly. Like, yeah, I screwed up. I did X, Y, Z. And you're like, why would you say that out loud? That's a pretty big screw up. Maybe you should have taken that to your grave, but some people they just own it. And it was good for me to see that because because coming up from a religious background, I would be ashamed to say those things if it had happened to me. And I was like, this happened to him, and he's not ashamed of it. It's like where he trips and falls in life. Like, that's interesting, because I would be ashamed of, if I tripped and fell his way.
That's what forgiveness is about, though, and knowing that you're forgiven. And I know, I don't know. It's just, I see people do stuff all the time and do the wrong thing, and they keep doing the wrong thing because they keep convincing themselves it's okay. That's what they're used to, and so they just stay in that place. But if you never really own it and you try to justify it, then you're going to still stay in the same place. You're not going to come out of it because you're thinking you're all right.
Okay. Well, any last minute thoughts, gentlemen? Where do you guys do I guess your church at and stuff? You guys broadcast
Yeah,
it?
we meet at Red Door.
Red Door Cafe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sundays?
Yeah, Sundays service is 11. We have Bible study at 9:30.
Okay.
And we have coffee and donuts.
Yeah.
That's kind of the selling point.
Serve a lot of homeless people
You
there
have to
too.
break bricks every
No,
if you're new, you gotta break a brick to prove your worthiness.
you could try that now. But
People might look at you funny.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Well, thanks for joining us on the Mexican Show. Just want to let people know there's good people in our community. I don't care what religion your background is, what your political views are. Everybody has something good to offer. And, if you're out there doing good things, we want to hear about it. All right. This is the Rick Sickens Show. We're signing out.
every time.